Hello, learners. Welcome to the first session of Learning English with Miss K. And for today, we're going to discuss about making generalizations and drawing conclusions. Before we dig further to this topic, let's have the learning objectives. These objectives are intended for the recorded and in-person classes. First, first is to determine unsupported generalizations and exaggerations. Second would be to point out relationships among statements noted through drawing conclusions, and of course, to make generalizations and conclusions from the set of details provided. When we say generalization, it refers to broad statements about group of people or things formulated using details from the text and prior knowledge. Okay, generalize from the word general, okay, meaning to say we are going to create a statement that represents the similar traits or characteristics about a particular group of people or group of things. For example, when we say dogs are generally smarter than cats, we are generalizing the intellectual ability of dogs over cats. Also, when we say usually, salesmen lie to make more money on a sale, we are generalizing all salesmen or typical salesmen who do lie in order to make sales. Next, parents are naturally strict to their children. So in this sense, we are generalizing parents' trait towards their children. But please keep in mind that not all generalizations are entirely true because there may be examples of individual or things that differ. That's why we have this idea of false generalization, right? So it's not always correct to generalize a trait or a characteristics to a group of people just because you saw it on a particular scenario. Because again, people are different from one another. So make sure to be very observant whenever you write your generalizations. So generalizations use clue words such as oftentimes, most, sometimes, generally, and usually. So let's try to generalize this idea. Katie had an apple for breakfast. She also had a banana. Katie had an orange as well. Katie had a slice of toast. Based on the set of ideas presented, what can we say about Katie's breakfast? You probably said that Katie had a lot of fruit for breakfast, or perhaps you would generalize that Katie likes fruit. And that is correct because, again, your generalization is based on the facts presented. Be careful. Make your generalization valid. By valid, we mean true. So, it is supported by facts. It agrees with what you already know about the topic. It uses logic and reasoning. And again, it is proven with several examples. So, we cannot just generalize just because we want to or just because we see it on a particular scenario. Again, you have to be guided by the following. Make your generalization not, or make sure your generalization is not faulty. Faulty means false, meaning to say it is not supported by facts. Watch for keywords such as none, all, always, never, everyone, and nobody. Okay, be careful. And with this set of words, as much as possible, do not use them in your generalization because again, they signify faulty generalization. Okay, let's take a look, for example, the words everyone and nobody. So when I say everyone wants to be treated right, is my statement or generalization valid? Yes, it is because of the idea, right? Everyone wants to be treated right, no? Is there somebody who wouldn't want to, diba? Next, nobody wants to be cheated on. Okay, is the statement correct? Yes, as well. because it applies to everyone. Diba? Nobody, of course, wants someone cheating over them. Okay, but the statements become faulty when we use them in certain examples, such as first, everyone prefers dogs over cats. What do you think is wrong with my statement? It's because we talk about preference, okay? And there are some people who are actually more of a cat person rather than dog. Next, nobody wants to eat alone at lunch. Is there anything wrong with my generalization? Probably there is, okay? Because again, no, there are some people who prefers to be alone, who prefers to eat alone. Therefore, my generalization is faulty. So again, please be careful or watch out with these following words. Examine the context they are being applied on. So let's try to analyze. Chocolate is everyone's favorite dessert. What do you think is wrong with the generalization? How can we make it valid? The the statement or the thing that makes the generalization faulty, it's because it's generalizing an idea on people's preference using the word everyone. And again, there are some people who do not like chocolates for dessert. And how do we make it valid? Most people like chocolate for dessert. Therefore, we are not concluding or we are not generalizing for everyone. All right, when we talk about conclusion then, it refers to a decision or judgment formed after a period of thought or series of considerations. So if generalization is um, coming up with a broad idea about a particular group or things, conclusion then are simply providing your judgment, no, or um, analysis, things that are not present on the text based on what you previously know and what you know about the context. Ayan. So drawing conclusions is the ability to use only details from the text to gather meaning that is not overtly stated. There are two things that you need to keep in mind in making conclusions. First is what you know in your head or your prior knowledge, and what you know in the story or the information provided. A conclusion is what you come to when you put these two together. Let's try to conclude. Some statistics show that drivers under the age of 16 are more dangerous. On the other hand, some statistics show that they are no more dangerous than drivers 16 to 25. Okay. Therefore, whether drivers under the age of 16 are more dangerous than those over 16 is still debatable. Okay. Given the information that we have, some reference say that 16-year-old drivers are more dangerous over 16 to 25. Okay, they are contrasting. So that already gives us an idea that it is still debatable. And based on my prior or our prior knowledge, no, there are some cases of accident involving drivers with such age and age range. Therefore, we come up with this conclusion that the idea is still debatable. And that is it for our discussion of making generalizations and drawing conclusions. These are the references I use or we use for today's topic. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you all next time.